That burning, tingling, pins and needles feeling in your feet. The one that creeps in at night just as you're trying to fall asleep. I need you to stop what you're doing and listen closely, because that feeling is not just getting older. That is your nerves, the tiny living wires inside your feet. Slowly, quietly dying. One fiber at a time. And here is the frightening part. Most people feel these exact warning signs for months, sometimes years, and brush them off as normal aging until the damage becomes permanent, and the choices they have left are far smaller. My name is Dr. Paul Brenner. I've spent more than 30 years helping people over 60 protect the one thing that keeps them independent, their ability to feel their own 2 feet and walk without fear. And in those years, I have watched too many good people ignore the early whispers, the tingling, the numbness, the cold toes, until those whispers became a fall. A wound that wouldn't heal, or worse. So before we go one step further, do me a favor and subscribe, because what I'm about to share could matter just as much for someone you love as it does for you. Here's the good news, and I mean this sincerely. In your own kitchen, right now, there are simple, inexpensive things that can calm these nerves and bring feeling back to your feet. No expensive prescriptions required. Today, I'm going to walk you through the 7 warning signs that your nerves are in trouble. The fix for sign number 4 is something you can start tonight before you go to bed. But stay with me all the way through, because sign number 5 is the one almost everyone dismisses. And it's the most dangerous of them all. Let's begin. First, let me explain what's actually happening inside your feet, because once you understand it, every one of these 7 signs will make sense, and you'll know exactly what to do about it. Picture the nerves running down to your feet like the electrical wires behind your walls. Each one is wrapped in a protective coating, almost like the rubber insulation around a cord. As long as that coating is healthy, the signal travels cleanly. Your brain knows where your foot is, whether the floor is hot or cold, and whether you stepped on something sharp. But 3 things quietly eat away at that coating as we age. The first is high blood sugar. Even blood sugar that's only a little elevated, the kind your doctor might call borderline. Think of it like acid slowly stripping the rubber off a wire. The second is poor circulation. When blood can't reach the nerve starves. And the third is a quiet shortage of the specific nutrients nerves need to repair themselves, especially vitamin B12, magnesium, and certain antioxidants. When that coating frays, the signals get scrambled. Sometimes your brain feels burning that isn't there. Sometimes it feels nothing at all. And that scrambling shows up as the 7 signs we're about to cover. Here's the encouraging truth, backed by the National Institute of Neurological Disorders and Stroke. Nerves are slow to heal, but in their early stages, they can heal. The window is open, but it doesn't stay open forever, so let's not waste it. Sign number 1, a burning sensation in your feet, especially at night. You climb into bed, the lights go off, and suddenly your feet feel like they're sitting too close to a fire. Hot, prickling, almost raw. Many people tell me they have to stick their feet out from under the blanket just to bear it. Most assume it's the blankets, or simply one of those things. It isn't. That nighttime burning is one of the earliest signs of small fiber nerve irritation, and it's very often the first signal of blood sugar quietly running high. The American Diabetes Association estimates that roughly 1 in 5 people with diabetes don't yet know they have it. And burning feet at night is frequently the very first clue, showing up long before any other symptom. Here's a simple first step. Pay attention to what you eat in the 2 to 3 hours before bed. A late bowl of cereal, crackers, ice cream, or even healthy fruit juice can spike your blood sugar overnight and feed that burning. Move your last carbohydrate earlier in the evening, and many people notice the nighttime burning ease within a couple of weeks. But that's only the surface. Keep listening, because the next sign tells us what your nerves are starving for. Sign number 2, tingling, or that pins and needles feeling, as if your foot is permanently half asleep. We've all had a foot fall asleep after sitting too long. That's normal. What's not normal is when that tingling becomes a regular visitor with no reason behind it. When it lingers, it often points to a specific and very fixable cause: a shortage of vitamin B12. B12 is one of the key building blocks your body uses to rebuild that protective nerve coating. Without enough of it, the coating simply can't be repaired. And here is something most people are never told. 2 of the most common situations after 60 can quietly drain your B12. The first is taking metformin for blood sugar. The second is long-term use of acid-reducing medications for heartburn or reflux. Both can lower how much B12 your body absorbs, so you can be eating well and still run low. This is well documented by the Mayo Clinic. What can you do? Ask your doctor for a simple B12 blood test. It's inexpensive and tells you a great deal. And lean into B12-rich foods. Eggs, fish, and lean meats. If you've been on metformin or an acid reducer for years, this one conversation with your doctor could change how your feet feel. Now, the third sign is the one that makes people jump, sometimes literally. Sign number 3. Sudden, sharp, electric, or stabbing pains that shoot through your feet for no reason. These can feel like a jolt of electricity, a stab, or a quick zap that comes out of nowhere and makes you wince. They tend to strike when you're resting, which makes them especially maddening. What's happening is that damaged nerves begin to misfire, sending false alarm signals, like faulty wiring sparking on its own. This is where one particular nutrient has earned real scientific attention: alpha-lipoic acid, a powerful antioxidant. Multiple clinical trials have studied alpha-lipoic acid for nerve pain, and the results have been encouraging enough that it's used as a standard treatment for diabetic nerve pain in some countries. You'll find it naturally in foods like spinach, broccoli, and tomatoes. So this is one more reason to fill half your plate with those deep green vegetables. Think of alpha-lipoic acid as a fire extinguisher for that misfiring inflammation. Keep this one in mind because it's about to come together with the next sign, number 4. The one you can act on tonight. Sign number 4. Numbness and a restless, crawling feeling in your feet and lower legs that gets worse the moment you lie down at night. Your feet feel heavy and half numb, yet you can't keep them still. There's an itch you can't scratch, deep under the skin, and it steals your sleep. This combination very often points to two things working together: a shortage of magnesium and sluggish circulation pooling in your lower legs at the end of the day. And this is the one I promised you can fix starting tonight. Here is the simple 3-part routine I share with my own patients. First, about an hour before bed, soak your feet in comfortably warm water for 10 minutes. Warm water gently opens the blood vessels and coaxes circulation back into your feet. Walter came to me convinced he just had old feet. The burning at night, the numb toes, the wobble when he stood up. He'd accepted all of it as the price of getting older, and he'd nearly stopped going on his evening walks because he was afraid of falling. We didn't do anything dramatic. We checked his B12. It was low, from years on an acid reducer he'd forgotten he was even taking. We started the warm soak and feet up routine, the magnesium in the evening, more greens and eggs, and we got his after-dinner blood sugar under control. Third, talk to your doctor about magnesium. Many people over 60 are quietly low in it, and a form called magnesium glycinate, taken in the evening, is gentle and well tolerated by most. Warm soak, feet up, magnesium. That's it. Most people feel a calmer, quieter set of feet the very first night. Now, I want to pause for one moment because this matters. If you felt even one of these first 4 signs in your own feet, do 2 quick things for me. Type the word yes in the comments below. It genuinely helps YouTube show this video to more seniors who need it. And tap the like button. It takes 1 second and it tells YouTube this information is worth sharing. Thank you. It means more than you know. All right, take a breath, because sign number 5 is the one I worry about most as a doctor. Sign number 5, and please pay close attention, is the opposite of pain. It's the loss of feeling altogether. The numbness, where you can press on your foot or touch it and barely feel it at all. I know it sounds strange to call numbness more dangerous than pain, but here's why it frightens me. Pain protects you. Pain tells you there's a pebble in your shoe, that the bathwater is too hot, that you've developed a blister. When the nerves go fully silent, that protection disappears. People develop a small cut, a blister, a sore, and never feel it. It goes unnoticed for days. And in someone with reduced circulation or higher blood sugar, that tiny unnoticed wound can become an ulcer, an infection, and tragically, it is the single leading cause of non-traumatic amputations in this country. The Cleveland Clinic is blunt about this. Loss of protective sensation is a medical priority, not something to wait and see on. So here's what I need you to do, starting today, and it takes 30 seconds. Check your feet every single day. Look at the tops, the soles, and especially between the toes. Use a hand mirror if bending is hard, or ask someone to help. You are looking for any cut, redness, blister, or sore. Never walk barefoot, even at home. And if you find a wound that isn't healing, do not wait. Call your doctor. This one habit has saved more feet than any pill I've ever prescribed. Now, sign 6 is the one that turns this from a foot problem into a falling problem. Sign number 6. A growing sense of unsteadiness, feeling off balance, especially in the dark, or the strange sensation that you're walking on cushions, carpet, or cotton wool when the floor is perfectly flat. Here's what's behind it. Your feet aren't just for walking. They constantly send your brain a stream of information about exactly where your body is in space. Doctors call this proprioception. When the nerves in your feet go quiet, that stream of information dries up. So your brain is partly flying blind, and your balance suffers. This is why so many falls among people over 60 trace back at the root to nerve damage in the feet that no one ever connected to the falls. If you've caught yourself reaching for the wall or feeling wobbly when you first stand, take it seriously. It's not clumsiness. It's a signal. Address the root causes we've been discussing. Keep your home well lit. Hold the rail on stairs. And ask your doctor about simple balance exercises. Protecting your feet is protecting your independence. And that brings us to the 7th and final sign, the one that ties your feet to your whole circulatory system. Sign number 7. Feet that are persistently cold to the touch or that change color, looking pale, white, or even slightly blue, along with skin that's become thin, shiny, or slow to heal. When blood flow to the feet drops, the nerves are starved of oxygen, and the skin shows it, cold, discolored, and slow to repair. Nerve trouble and circulation trouble very often travel together, each one making the other worse. The encouraging part is that food can genuinely help here. Your body makes a molecule called nitric oxide that relaxes and opens your blood vessels, and certain foods give it the raw material to do that. Beets and beet juice are among the best, along with leafy greens. Eat to steady your blood sugar, protein and vegetables before the bread and rice, and move your last carbohydrate earlier in the evening. Feed your nerves directly. Eggs and fish for B12, deep greens for alpha-lipoic acid, and ask your doctor about B12 and magnesium. But if your feet are often cold and discolored or a sore is slow to heal, please have your doctor check the circulation in your legs. It's a quick, painless test, and it's worth doing. Now let me bring all 7 of these together, because here's what 30 years has taught me. These are not 7 separate problems. They are 7 leaves on the same 3 roots: blood sugar, circulation, and the specific nutrients your nerves need to repair themselves. Chase each symptom one at a time, and you'll be chasing forever. Tend the roots, and the whole tree begins to recover. So here is the simple daily plan, the one I'd hand a patient on a single index card. Eat to steady your blood sugar, protein and vegetables before the bread and rice, and move your last carbohydrate earlier in the evening. Feed your nerves directly. Eggs and fish for B12, deep greens for alpha-lipoic acid, and ask your doctor about B12 and magnesium. Open your circulation. Beets and leafy greens, a daily walk, and that warm soak and feet up routine before bed. And protect what you've got. Check your feet every single day. None of this is expensive. None of it is complicated. But done consistently, week after week, it can change everything. Let me tell you about one of my patients. I'll call him Walter, a retired school teacher, 71 years old. Walter came to me convinced he just had old feet. The burning at night, the numb toes, the wobble when he stood up. He'd accepted all of it as the price of getting older, and he'd nearly stopped going on his evening walks because he was afraid of falling. We didn't do anything dramatic. We checked his B12. It was low, from years on an acid reducer he'd forgotten he was even taking. We started the warm soak and feet up routine, the magnesium in the evening, more greens and eggs, and we got his after-dinner blood sugar under control. 6 weeks later, Walter sat in my office and told me the burning at night was nearly gone, the numbness had eased, and this is the part that stayed with me. He'd started walking again. I'd forgotten, he said, what it felt like to trust my own feet. That is what this is really about. Not your feet, your freedom. So here's what I want you to do right now. before you click away. Don't try to change everything at once. Pick just one thing from today. Maybe it's the warm soak tonight. Maybe it's checking your feet tomorrow morning. Maybe it's calling your doctor about a B12 test. Just one. Start there. Because the people who get their feet back aren't the ones who do everything for a week. They're the ones who do one small thing consistently until it becomes who they are. If this helped you, please give it a like and share it with someone you love who's been ignoring their feet. Your share might be the reason they catch this in time. And if you're not yet subscribed, join us. Every week I bring you clear, honest guidance to help you stay strong, steady, and independent for years to come. One last thing, and it's important. Everything I've shared today is general education based on current research and my clinical experience. It is not a substitute for your own doctor's advice. Please don't start, stop, or change any medication on your own. And bring what you've learned here to your next appointment so you and your doctor can decide together. Take good care of your feet. They've carried you your whole life, and with a little attention, they'll carry you for a long time yet.